Okay, so it should be start to recording. So just like I mentioned, this office hours is actually focuses on the week 5, the chapter 15, the transportation logistics management over there. And this virtual office hours, the first parts, I will just help students to review the homework assignment. I know my bad handwriting, so hope you can recognize this is the homework. So the homework assignments, and then I will help students to review the case assignment.
Okay.
And then I will just like answer some questions for the bulletin board. The discussion of bulletin board relates to the test and others. Then the last portion, just like let me know what kind of questions you may have. So this is the contents for today's office hours. And so let's move to the first one, the homework. So I found like several, I just read all the discussions and I found a few students like actually they have exactly the same questions about the homework. So the homework assignments, we have 4 questions for it. So the first 3, the question 1, 2, 3, they are actually talks about the linear programming. So let's just move
Start
to
reading.
the linear programming directly. So here we go. So this is the examples relates to question 1, 2, 3. So build a linear programming model and then just like help you use the solver on Excel to help you to solve it. And for any linear programming, it actually have 3 things you need to focus on. The first is about the objectives here. So we have 2 different types in general. We have 2 different types of the objective. Some of the time we just like focus on the cost. So we want to minimize the costs. Sometimes we focus on the revenues, the profits. So we want to maximize our profits based on what we have right now. So in general, we have those 2 types, minimize costs or maximize the profits. This is the objective. And for any linear programming, except for objective, this is the first thing you need to, figure out. Then you need to take a look based on the problem information, you need to figure out what kinds of variables you have. What other things you don't know and you are looking for. And then we move to like the last one you need to figure out before you build your linear programming model, which is the constraints. So for the homework we have like this week for the chapter 15, actually we just like analyze exactly the same questions, but with different numbers, with different like the situations. So the objective either minimize cost or maximize profits. The variables always, so if we take a look with the example here, the variables always like about the amount of the whatever it is, the amount of the goods you need to deliver for one location to another one. So for example, so the variables you need to focus on is like, okay, we have factory, those 4 locations, we have like, we also like have like the 4 locations as kind of like customer who receive like the cases of this like medical stuffs over there. So the things we want to know is how many we should deliver from one supplier to one customer. So until the last one. So this is what we call it the variables. And the constraints, like for these types of questions is, first of all, if we consider for the suppliers, then each of the supplier, they have the capacity, which means they have the limited cases they can deliver to. And for the customers aspects, the constraint is their demand. So how many cases does each of them needs? So this is what we have, like the two constraints. One is for the supplier, one is for the customer. If I just like help you to break down what you need to do, like for this linear programming, this is what you need to do. So you need to figure out your objective. You want to minimize cost or you want to maximize the profits based on the problem. So if the problem gave to you the cost here, you need to minimize it. If the problem information gave you how much you can earn, the profits, then you want to maximize them. This is what we need to figure out, the first thing, objective. Then the second thing, what you don't know and you need to know. So the variables. This is what we have here. So we just want to figure out how many cases for one location to another one. And the last is the constraints. The constraints is something, because if we don't have any constraints, then it will be it case of something like you can just do all the, if you don't have a limited capacity as the supplier, you can just deliver what the customer wants. Or if the customer don't have the certain demand over there, they just like can receive as more as possible, then they can just receive that. But for the linear programming, why we can find the result, like the kinds of like the solutions, because the constraints, we have the constraints, so it's limited the possibilities. And then the constraints for these types of questions is one for the supplier, which is their capacity, another is for the customers, what their demands. So this is the three things you need to figure out. So for the newcoming students, here is the office hours, but the first part is I just need to review, I just like to review the homework for you. So.
Okay.
Any questions by now?
No.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
Then we can move to the next. So once you have a clear logic about what what you need to do, then you can just write down the kind of like your math models over there based on the information you have here. So for this lines, it gives you more information about the number you have, including the constraints, including like the objectives. And this is what we have right now. So if you just like if you read all the examples over there, this is what kind of like the stuffs have, and this is what they need. This is kind of like the cost for each of them. So this is a really similar to your homework. And once you have those information, you will be able to build, the math models in the Excel.
Okay.
So just give me a second. I need to change to. So now let's share my screen here. So this is what we have, the examples for the textbook. And it asks you because we consider the cost. When we consider the cost, we want to minimize it. And once you have already figured out like the whole logic to solve it, then it's the time for you to solve it. So how to solve it? You can just like solve it by hand, like you just like draw the figures to solve the linear programming if you have learned linear programming before. So you probably know like you can just like list some math models over there and just like calculate that by hand or by calculator. But easier way for you is to use Excel. So Excel, we have a tool called Solver, so which is really helpful for us to deal with any types of the LP, the linear programming problems. So the next steps, once you figure out the whole logic about how to build the LP, then the next thing, you just like put everything on this spreadsheet. So for this spreadsheet, we have, this is the cost for one location to the destination. So we have for supply over there and we have destinations we need to deliver those cases to. And we also have another information about the capacity. So this is 15. This is the capacity for India and Pernis. So this is what's like how many cases this location has. And 6 is how many cases Phoenix has. This is what we call the capacity. So this is how many cases each supply has. They cannot deliver more than the number of cases they have. So this is one of the constraints we consider about. And for cell B10 to E10, this is what we call the demand. So this is the demand for each destination. Like for St. Louis, they need 12. For Denver, they need 15. For Los Angeles, they need 9. So they don't want to need, they just hope like they can receive exactly they want. So they don't want to receive less or receive more. They just want to exactly the numbers they're looking for. So this is another constraint we have. And then we need to consider about, okay, so the objectives, the variables. The variables we have already figured out. This is, if I use those cells to represent, like each cell represents the number of cases for one location to one destination. Then we have 16 over there represents, like, I just like mark them with yellow color. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 until the last one. We have 16 in total, which means like, for example, the B13. B13 is one of the variables. It means the number of cases for India ponies to numbers. And the similar C13 means the number of cases for India ponies to St. Louis. So this is how many cases they receive for like the locations until the last one. It means like how many cases the Los Angeles received for Atlanta. So this is what we have. This is the variables we want to figure out. Because if we know exactly the number of cases here, we will be able to compute the cost. So this is what we call variables. It relates to the objective. It change, the objective will change. This is what we call variables. And then I use those another 16 cells to represent the cost. So the cost will be related to 2 things. The first one, the number of cases. The second, the cost per case. So each of this will be equal to how many cases times how much?
Yeah.
The B20 over there means this is the cost if you deliver the cases for India ponies to numbers. This is how much you need to pay. And we can just like use the similar things, then we just like scroll down to the last. This one, for example, the New York City to Denver, we just use like how many for the New York City, how many cases like for the New York City to deliver to Denver times how much per case, which is 80. So we just have all of them. Then super easy for the objective. So the objective will be the total cost. So it will sum the cost for the first one to the last one. And it currently shows 0 because we don't have any numbers here. So it should be 0, 0 times anything, it will be 0, but it will change once we apply solver. So this is what we have, the objective. By now, we have already figured out 2 out of 3 things for the LP. So we figure out the objective, we figure out the variables. Another thing is consider about the constraints. So constraints we have 2. one is related to the capacity, one is related to the demand. So let's focus on the capacity first. So how many cases in total India Ponies delivered to those 4 locations, those 4 destinations? It equals to a sum for B13 to E13. What's it? A sum for B13 to E13 will be B13 plus C13 plus D13 plus E13. So this is actually like this is like the B13 means the number of case, like how many case for India Ponies to Columbus. And C13 means like how many cases for India Ponies to St. Louis until like the last one for India Ponies to the Los Angeles. If we sum all of them together, it's the total cases for India Ponies. So this is in total how many cases for this supplier. Then this one, the F13, should be less than 15 because we know the capacity for India ponies is 15, right? The same. So for the Atlanta, until the Atlanta, it should be less than 11. We can translate that information like our logic, our math logic for the first step into the Excel, transfer that information to let the Excel know what you need to do. So this is the first constraints. Now we move to the demand. So the demand means like how many cases like each customer received, like the Columbus received, St. Louis received, Denver received, Los Angeles received. They may receive the case for Indianapolis. They may receive the case for Phoenix. They may receive the case for the New York City. We have no idea about how many like they receive right now, but we know like the total case, the cases they received will be a sum for these 4 sales because each sale means like how many cases they receive for one supplier here. So we just sum all together. And we can do the exactly same thing for other 3 destinations, then St. Louis, Denver, and Los Angeles. And those demands, so this one is like how many numbers received in total. So it should be exactly equal to 10 because this is the demand for numbers. And 0, I mean, not 0, but the cell C17 should be exactly equal to 12. And D17 should be exactly equal to 15 until the last one. So this is what we have right now. And this is the countries we have. We don't have any other countries based on the problem information. So this is what we have. We just translate our math logic to the Excel. We just like transform for one language to another one because we need to use solver in Excel to solve it. And by now you have already like finished more than 80% of this whole problems. The last thing, the step 3, the last thing you need to do is just apply solver to solve it. And if you like to apply solver, first of all, you have to have a solver. I mean, on your Excel. So where can you find the solver? Whatever like because this is a MacBook, so I use iOS system. If you use Windows system, it's the same. So you need to find the solver file data. So once you connect the data, then you will be able to find the solver like on the very, very right.
Okay.
And sometimes once you connect the solver, you will not be able to see it. So this is the time for you to add on it. So how to add on it? Different system have different like a way, but it's similar. So for the Windows, you need to find the option on the top left and then just like connect the add-ins, then you will be able to find the Excel stuffs over there. Then you just connect the add-ins, then you will be able to find solver. Then you just check that box, then you will be able to like have solver over there. If you want to like see more details, you can just like watch another video I post on modules, or you can just like do some quick searching on Google or any browser, just like add on solver to Excel. It will help you to like figure out the steps. But if you use a MacBook, so here is the thing you can do. You just like choose tools on the top, and then you will be able to find the Excel add-ins. Then just connect the Excel add-ins and the same. You just need to check that box, solver. Then you will be able to have solver over there. Okay.
Cool.
And once you have a solver, then you just connect the solver. And for solver, the new windows here, you need to insert some information for solver, because like if we don't apply solver, we can still like solve this math by ourselves. We just like use our calculator. We just maybe sometimes for LP problem, we just like draw figures. Then we just find like, okay, this is the optimal solution. But because we apply solver, so very beginning, we need that solver knows what kind of information this LP has, this LP model you build has. So still those three important stuffs, the objective, the variable, and the constraints. So for the objective, we use, if you still remember, like the F25, this is the total cost. This is our objective. We want to minimize the cost. So this cell actually involve the formula we use to compute the total cost. So this is our objective, total cost. And once you choose that cell, you will, the next thing for the objective is you need to choose. You need to choose, you want to maximize it or minimize it, or you want to have a certain amount of your objective. And because this is the cost, so we like to minimize. And I saw several students like in the discussion board, they ask, they don't have any idea about if they should choose max or the MX or MIN or the last one. So this depends on your problem. If you minimize cost, you choose min. If you maximize profits, you choose max. If you want to achieve a certain number, then you just like choose this value of and insert the number you want to achieve. So it depends on the problem. It's not randomly. It's just like depends on the LP model you build. So for this problem, it's minimized because it's cost. We just want to like spend as less as possible. So this is minimized. And then second, we need to let solver know the variables. And the variables here, we have those 16 cells. We just want to know the number of cases, how many cases for one supplier to one customer. So because we have 4 supplier, we have 4 destination, then we have 16 in total. So those 16 cells will be the variables for this problem. And then constraints. We have 2 types of constraints. So when you want to add constraints, you have several like stuffs over there because they are black. So actually the very first, we need to click add. But if you have some like something like you want to, if you have already like have some constraints over there and you want to make changes, you can just simply click change button here. Or if you want to delete like one of the constraints, you just click delete button here, or you want to reset all, or you want to know some like the constraints you had before, or you want to save the constraints you have over there, you just click this button. But for now, because we just like the first time he used the solver to solve this problem, so we need to click the add constraints for this problem. So we can click the add, and you will be able to Windows looks like this. And this is the reference cell, which means what kinds of things like you as the left side for your constraints. So for these types of questions, we have 2 constraints. One is about the capacity. So capacity, here is the capacity. So for cell F13 to F16, they are the total shipped for the supplier. So we hope those shipped should be less or equal to. So here you can choose different symbols. You can choose less or equal to, you can choose exactly equal to, or larger or equal to, or integer, or binary, or different. differentiation. So this is what we have here. And for these constraints, we hope like they less or equal to what they have, which is their capacity. So here is their capacity. So if we back to here, if we click OK, you will be see that one of the constraints has been added to here. And you need to be very careful because like all of the shifts, they're just like on the columns over there. It's not on the nodes. You need to keep the same format. You cannot like have the columns and with the nodes. No, if you use nodes, you need to keep like all the numbers over there, or you just need to make sure like, because this means like F13 should be less or equal to F6. Then F14 should be less or equal to the second one, which here is F7. So you need to keep the format and the same, or you can choose them one by one. So this one should be less than this one. This one should be less or equal to this one until the last. But this is like the way it can help you to save time. If you have the same format, you can just choose all of them. So this is one of the constraints. Another one. So another one is about the demand. Now we have the nodes over there. This is the demand over there, like based on the variables over there. This is the total case each destination may receive. Then it should be exactly equal to 10 for the Columbus, 12 for the St. Louis, 15 to the Denver, and 9 for the Los Angeles. So we have over there. And actually we have 3 buttons over there. So last time I click OK because I like to show you like the constraints we have already like insert to the solver. But here is the thing. So if you want to, you just like insert something wrong, you can click the cancel, then you back to the solver windows, then you can just do what you like to do with the solver. Or if you have another constraints, you can just simply click the add. Then you don't need to go back and click add again. So you just click add over there. It will give you like another new windows for you to add more constraints. Or you have already like insert all the constraints, then you just click OK. Then you will be able to back to here. So this is like those 3 things. If you, finish all of the things I just like introduced, then you have already like finished 98% of this problem. So only 2% left. First of all, you need to check this box because we have like the linear programming we solve here. This is the non-negative, so all the numbers should be positive. So you check that box, then the solver will not look for any negative numbers for you as the solution. And then we need to go through down like the solving method here. We use simplex linear programming. So this is a linear programming. This is not nonlinear programs. This is not evolutionary program. This is the LP, so linear programming. And then we just click solve. And you will be able to find a new windows over there. Sometimes you may see like the reports over there, like the sensitive. It means like if you want to have a sensitive reports or the answer reports or others, sometimes you just like have a brag because it means like you don't have that function here. But anyways, so this is what your solver results. And if you back to here, actually we have all the numbers here and we have the correct we have the answers over there. So this is what we have. I feel like they have the negative numbers. Let me check what happens here. So this probably should be wrong because we don't hope have any negative. So just let me check that. And it happens actually. It happens always because solver is like you may meet this or that questions over there. So B17. And just like one of the students mentioned, if you didn't find the correct answers for the McGraw Hill, a very useful for you is to send out the Excel spreadsheets, like to check all the stuffs you have. Oh, I didn't check that box, so now we just like solver. Good. Okay, here we go. Now we have the correct answers. So make sure you have like the check that box. We don't have any negative results over there. So here we go. This is what we have. Now you will be able to know the option solution for this problem to save money, to have the minimum cost is to deliver like 15 cases for the Indianapolis to Denver and deliver 6 for the Phoenix to Los Angeles and deliver 10 for New York City to Columbus, and New York City still like have 4 left. Those 4 need to deliver to the St. Louis, and Atlanta received like 8 for, I mean, St. Louis received 8 for Atlanta and 3 for, I mean, the Los Angeles. The rest of the 3 for Atlanta should be delivered to the Los Angeles. Then we can meet the 9 demand for Los Angeles. So this is how we translate the results. And the minimum cost you may spend is 1,835. So this is about how to solve like the problems, like the first 3 problems for the homework. So the LP. Any questions by now?
No, none. Seems pretty simple.
Yeah, it just so this is what I like to like share with you as well. Like for the MGMT6140, like this, I mentioned this many times, but I have to say this is not an easy class because it has a lot of like the math. Well, I mean, the tools, the methodologies over there. So it's not that easy, especially for the online section. So students may just like, because for the math, if you're struggling with one of the parts, then you cannot move on. And then you can just like stuck in with that's like that part's like for a very long time, like 3 hours, 5 hours, 2 days. But if
Yeah.
you like if you have the time to take the in-person, that would be easier for you because anytime when you find a questions, you just like, you can ask directly and you can receive the feedback directly. So that also the reason like I have the button like discussion over there, but it's still like harder like for the online students compared with the
Yes, it is.
in-person students.
Will this professor, will this be on the final exam? It will.
Yeah.
Okie dokie.
Hi.
I actually have a quick question.
Sure, just go ahead.
So in the homework on McGraw-Hill, on problem number 1, for example, when I put in the solver to solve the candidate solution and the profit, about 70% of the cells are correct answers and the rest are in the red. So I know that those are incorrect. And I can't seem to figure out the mistake that I've made. So I mean, I know going back and double checking my steps is beneficial, but I'm not sure. Like you said, sometimes it takes a few hours, or now I'm on it for 2 days now and I can't figure it out. So what should I do?
So you can just like share your spreadsheet to me and I will check that. It just like debug. It's like the bugs, like if you are the creator, it may be not that easy for you to find the bugs, but for others, they may be, I mean, it can be like easy for them to find. So if you just gave me like a screenshot about like your answers, your result for the McGraw-Hill, I have no idea about how to deal with that, but you can share. If you can share your spreadsheet with me, then I can check the formulas you insert in the Excel and the things you insert into the solver, then I probably will be able to find the answers for you. Okay.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
And I am going to stop sharing this spreadsheet. And actually, you can find this spreadsheet under, I mean, if I open here. Under modules week, so let me share my screen again. So if you open your canvas and you scroll down to week 5 module, and you can find what I just showed you for here. So this is the chapter 15. Oh, this is not for your course. I'm so sorry. So I have like different section here, but the same. So you will be able to find this Excel sheet under module week 5.
Okay,
Here is the spreadsheet. So you will be able to find that. And for this spreadsheets, you can find I actually insert all the formulas. I actually save the solver. So you can just click the solver and you will be able to see like all the stuff I insert it, like how to solve this problem. So you can apply this Excel sheet. And I recommend you can use the same Excel sheets. You just need to change the numbers. Then you can just like apply this sheet for your homework, and probably it will be easier for you to do the homework stuff. So any questions?
none, none so far.
Okay,
I
So-
have another question.
sure, just go ahead.
Okay, so I was reading over the homework assignment for case number 2, and it sounds like we're supposed to
Do
write
different things.
everything down that we're doing in Word. Oh, were you just about to go there?
Okay, so for the case assignment two, it's another problem. For the homework, the number 1, 2, 3, they focus on the LP, the linear programming, and for the number 4, it will focus on another method, which called the central method, and this is what I will introduce for you like later. And for the case assignment, this is the part 2 for today's office hour. I will give you like a review about how to do the case assignment. The case assignment is different for the homework exercise. It's actually kind of stuff like you solve a real types of the questions like in the real business world. So it's not that similar to the homework. The homework 1, 2, 3 focuses on the method of LP, but the case assignments focuses on your understanding or like how you solve like based on the information, the data's over there, based on all the stuffs over there, how to solve a real supply chain stuffs. So just give you a kind of like it's kind of like the case study. So you just like have an overall like the best strategy to solve it. So it's a totally different types of the problem, and I will review that later after I review the question 4 for the homework, which is the central method.
Okay.
Okay, so if you don't have any questions, let's move to the last question, question 4 of your homework. It's not about LP, but about, so let me share the screen for the iPad. Okay. So it's about the central method. The central method is used to solve different problems. So for the LP, we just want to find like how to achieve the objective, whatever, like either to minimize the cost or to like maximize the profits. But for the central method is a method to help you to find a good or kind of like an optimal location if you want to build one more facility as a distribution center or as a warehouse or as others, like you just want to have a new facility, but you already like have several ones, so you want to just find a new location to close to each of them, then you can apply this method to help you to solve it. So briefly speaking, this is actually used to locating a single facility. And it consider two stuffs like what kind of facilities, locations you have right now, and the distance and the volumes of goods. So this is what we focus on. And if we take a look with the examples, so forget the formulas here. I know it looks so complex, but it's really, really simple. If way back to the LP, it's kind of like LP stuffs. The logic is LP. It's just like we set a linear programming to find the optimal solution. Then if way back to the central method, it's easier because it's only focuses on weighted average. It's not exactly the same, but the math logic is similar. So for the central method, we just want to find the weighted average. And we use that weighted average, the numbers over there, as the solution for the new location. So I know like you feel, what does that mean? You will figure that out like after I give you more details. For example, this is the example for the textbook. So the company just want to locate a new facility between its refining plants and its major distributors. And then they just like have a coordinate map. So they have the maps over there. They have the non-beach, which is and they have the distributors, refining plants, and they have the distributors, the Dalton Oaks, the Glendale, the Nahabra, and others. So they just have like those 4 distribution center, and they want to find a new location to just like close to all of them. So this is like what the central method can do. And this is what we find finally. But at the very beginning, you may not be able to know this. You just have this one. So, and the first step for this method in real business world, what you need to do, if you like want to apply this method to solve like a real problem in your career, what you need to do, you need to find this one, this coordinate system. So you need to put all the locations, the map locations into this, the XY coordinate. So you need to find those numbers here. So for each location, what is the X value? What is the Y value? If we put it into a coordinate system, and you can do that just based on the real location they have on the map. You just like have the map over there, and then just like build the coordinate system. Then you just like based on the real location they are located, then you just like mark the numbers over there. So this is the first thing you need to do in real. I mean, for real business world. But for the homework, I will give you this directly. So I will give you all the values for the X and the Y for each location. And then I will also give you another thing. So if we back to the former slides here, so it talks about the distance and also the value of goods. That's the reason why I call it like it still talks about like the it's talks about like the weighted average, not the average, because it's we only focus on the distance. We just like sum all the distance together and divide it by like how many locations we have, then we find that average and we can use that average. But because except for the distance, we also consider the values of goods. Like for example, for these questions here, so we can say that the volumes of goods for one locations to another is totally different. So we have 1,500, we also have 250. So they varies a lot. Then we also need to consider like the volumes of goods. So this is another thing. Then we need if we need to consider about that, this is not a simple average. This is what we call the weighted average. So what we need to do, our objective is find this. So this is the optimal option for your new facility. And if we want to find that, we need to know what is the X value, what is the Y value. That makes sense?
Okay.
And then if we want to know this, the X value only relates to the X value for the current location you have, the distance, and also the value of goods. So we just need to use what is the distance. So 325, this is the non-beach, and this is the value of goods they need. So we just use the X value times of the volumes of goods plus 400 times 250, which is another X value the times with like the locations over there. So 400, which is this location, and this location we need 250. So we use 400 times 250 plus the next one, 450, which is Nahabra, times 450. And we use 350, which is Glendale, times 350. And we use 25 multiply the 450. And we just need to plus all of them. Divided by the sum of all the goods. It's really similar to the weighted average, right? We just like have our weights for each of them. And divided by the number of goods. Then we have the X value for the new location, the optimal one will around 308. So this is what we have, 308 for the X. Then you just need to do exactly the same thing for the Y. So you just have Y over there, and then you will be able to know the Y value is related to is around like 216 to 17. So this is what we have. And once you put that map again to your coordinate system, you will be able to know, okay, where it is. So you will be able to locate the new facility. This is how we do the central system over there. Now let's back to the formula. So this is what we have like for the D. D means the X value times the big V. V means the value of goods and divided by the sum of V. So it's just like we translate this to the formula we have here. It just think about like the weighted average. Do not like let this problem too complex. It just have a simple logic over there. You just want to find like the central. When you want to locate a new facility, you just want to find like a location which is close to all of them, each of the current facility. So you just want to find a central location like for all of them. Then you just use, but because of the different like the volumes of goods, like different amount of the goods each location you have, so you need to take that as a weight. So this is just kind of like simple weight, kind of like the similar to the weighted average logic. So any questions?
No, none so far.
Okay, good. So this is about your homework. Those 4 questions for the McGraw-Hill. Okay. Now, let me stop here. Stop sharing. Okay. And any questions about homework by now?
That's just for the homework problems, chapter 15, right?
Yes, that's only for the homework. Chapter 15 homework.
Okay, and now you're gonna go over the
Case assignment.
okay, great. So far, so good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's back to the case assignment. Let me share my
Did
screen.
you record that last video also, Professor, and posted it?
Yeah, I am recording, so I will post this video like in Canvas later. So you will be able to check that this video like under the same module, the week 5 module. So you will be able to see that August
Okay.
2nd, like the office hours.
Great.
So here is the case assignment. And I like for the case assignment introduction, if you open like the modules over there, like when you do the case assignment, I mentioned like it's for the page 415, 449 to 451. And many students, not many students, but I received like some comments for the discussion, and some of the students mentioned it's not on the page 449. So here is the page 449. This is what I mentioned. But because like most of you, like you have like you just like a review for the online version for the textbooks, so you never like you probably just like miss the page over there, the page numbers over there, but you focus on the numbers on the top left. So you probably feel it's not 449, it's 200. Whatever it is, here we go. This is the case assignment. And if you feel, I mean, if you cannot find this case assignment, I mean, a very easy way for you is to just like search the keywords for here. So you just can just like insert the Granger, then you will be able to find this case. So this is
Okay, great.
and for this exercise, this case assignment study, if you have already read all the words over there, I know like you may need to spend a few minutes to read about all of them, but you have to read them before I just give you an introduction. So now I will give you like 5 minutes, around 5 minutes to read all of them, because if you don't read them, you will have no idea about what I am talking about. But just like open your textbook, I give you 5 minutes, then we just like take a look how to solve it. Have you finished reading? Seems not ready, so I will give 2 more minutes and I will begin to give you kind of like the rules to solve it at 4:05. Okay, so 1 more minute. Okay, let's take a look at this case assignment. So if we just go to the questions directly, it has 4 of them, and 3 and 4 is kind of like ask your suggestions or your comments about this new engineering for this company, the the Granger, these companies, like ask your comments about that. And question 1 and 2, one is for the current, like the system they have, and another one is like what they want to do. So if you what we read throughout like of the questions here, it actually like have a lot of numbers and a lot of information you need to analyze. But if we just like put all the keywords outside, it's when like for the question 1, it asks you, okay, for the current, like if we have 40% of the whole volumes of the goods like arrival in Seattle and the rest of them, which is 16% in Los Angeles, and we know like the fee, like for the processing fee is $5 per CBM. CBM is kind of the units, and this is what we consider about these questions. We always use a CBM, so when we consider like how much or the distance, we always consider about that. And this is like then we just want to know like what is the cost. Briefly speaking, this just asks you to calculate all the costs related to the current system. Like if we consider the processing fee, the unload fee, and the transportation fee. So this is what we have. And why they want to just re-engineering the whole system, they just want to like find another way to do their distribution because they feel it may help them to save money. So the question 2 here. The question 2 here is just like asking you, okay, if they engineer the whole system like this, so they just have like upgrading the Los Angeles, and they just like ask like all the containers coming to the Seattle, then they just move all of them to the Los Angeles, and then they just like still like 18% of the volumes will be kept in the Los Angeles, and the rest of them, which is 82%, will deliver to the warehouse they have in Kansas City. Then what is the new cost for this new system? So currently they have like 2 of them. They have like the the two ports, like all the goods will arrival either the Seattle or the Los Angeles, but now they just like want to deliver all the stuffs like for the Seattle to Los Angeles, then transfer like the 18%, 82% to the Kansas City. So this is like the first thing you need to clear. What is the two different systems? So if I use Excel to express that, so here we go. This is not the correct one. Okay, case assignment 2. So for the sheet 1, here is just like, when we consider the cost, we have two parts of them. So the first part is relates to the port. So when the goods arrival in the port, whatever is Seattle or the LA, the Los Angeles, then we need to consider the processing fee. We probably will have a real cost because we need to deliver all the cost for different port to their warehouse, which is the Kansas City. So they will have a real cost. And then we will have an unload cost like for the Kansas City over there. And except for that, we also have like the warehouse, like the truck freight cost, like because you will need to like for the warehouse to different destination over there. So the Kansas City is also one of the warehouses, but they just like deliver like the goods for the Kansas City to other warehouses over there. So we have the second part. This is not related to like process, and this is the pure transportation cost. So it totally depends on the demand and the distance. So this is why we have like two parts. So when you have a case like assignment, you have a lot of information and a lot of data. The first thing is like you need to have a clear like the logic about what you're looking for and what kind of things you have. Then for this case assignment, if we want to like just like help us to have a better understanding about what it looks for. This is what it looks for. So it just like ask you to find the cost, because the only thing we can use to compare which one is better, the current system or the system after the engineering, is we consider about how much like we need to pay for them. So if the current system is cheaper, then the current system is better. If the re-engineering system is cheaper, then the re-engineering system is better. So this is what we consider about. Then we will be able to know, okay, we need to calculate the cost. And the cost relates to these two parts, the pure transportation and all other costs relates to the port and the warehouses. So this is what we have. Any questions by now? You're good? And if you still like, if you still have questions about that, you may need to just go back to all the information here and you will be able to find all of them. So this is what we have like on the ports, and this is what we have like relates to other costs here, $3 per CMB processed. And also like the truck fees, this is a pure transformation, like transportation fee over there, like for the warehouse to other for the Kansas City, this warehouse to other warehouses, all the distribution centers over there. So this is what we have. Then when we compute that, question 1 asks us like if we keep the current one. So what does mean the current one? The current one means like all the goods come to this two port. And then we just like deliver the goods for this two port to Kansas City. So we have a real cost. We use real to deliver them. And then once they arrive at Kansas City, we have an unload fee. So this is what we have. And this is so how much we have right now. So in general, we have 40% goods will arrival in Seattle port, and the rest of them, 60% will arrival LA. And we know the total CBM, which is the amount of goods this company may receive is 190,000 CBM. So 40 of them We just use 40 times of these numbers, so then we got the 76,000. And the rest of them, the 60 of them, it will be 114,000. So this is like we use 40,000 multiply the total CBM we have. This is the amount of the CBM arrival to Seattle, and this is the amount. The sale CA is the amount like of the goods arriving in LA. And we know the processing fee is $5 per CBM. So then we will be able to know what is the processing fee for the Seattle port and LA port. We just use $5 times how many CBM they have. And the same is it equals to $5 per CBM times how many CBM they have. Here we go. And this is only the processing fee. Except for the processing fee, once they process all the goods, they will need to use the train, the rail to deliver those goods to Kansas City, which is their distribution center. And this is the distance. So the cost depends on how many CBM they have and the real cost per CBM per mile. So it equals to the real cost per mile per CBM times the distance multiply the CBM. So still need to multiply the CBM for the Seattle to Kansas City. Times CBM. And the same, so for the LA to Kansas City, it equals to the real cost per mile per CBM times the distance and the amount of CBM. So this is what for the real cost. And the unknown is like the $3 per CBM. So we just use the three times how many CBM over there. So we have the same 3 multiply the amount of CBM. So this is about the unknown fee for the Kansas City for both of the ports, for the goods they receive for the both of the ports. And here is the total cost for the Seattle City. We just sum all the cost, the processing cost, the real cost, and the unknown cost for the Seattle ports. And this is like for the LA, Los Angeles ports. The same, the processing, the real cost and unknown. And this is the total cost. The total cost for all of the cost for the port and the distribution center, the Kansas City. So we just sum the Seattle to the LA. So we have $2,108,240. So this is the total cost. And now, except for like all the cost relates to the ports and relates to like the Kansas City, the distribution center, we also have another cost. This is the second part. So the second part, like once you process all the goods, like the Kansas receive them and unload them, then the next step for this company, like the Granger, they just need to just like deliver like those goods to different warehouse. So Kansas is one of them. Except for Kansas, they also have like others, like the Los Angeles, the Memphis, and others. So other stuffs of other locations over there. And here is the demand. So this is the demand for each of the warehouse, and this is the miles, because like Kansas is one of them, and we don't need to transport like for Kansas to Kansas. This is like the miles is 0, so we don't have any truck freight here. But for all of the rest, so 0.022, this is the freight cost, which is the truck cost, the transportation, the truck cost per mile per CBM. So it equals, so we just need to compute like what is the pure transportation cost over there. So it equals to 0.0022 multiply the distance as well as the demand, the CBM, how many goods like you delivered, how much goods like you deliver to this warehouse. And we just like have the similar stuffs, like if we use donor symbols here for, because the 0.0022, it doesn't change, like for each of the warehouse, like the truck cost is always like 0.022 per mile per CBM. So it is stable. So we just like change that with the donor steps, then we can just like scroll down to the last. Now we have like all the transportation cost. And for the question one, it asks you like assume like this, then assume like we apply the current system. This is the current system and how much. And then we just need to sum these two part costs together. So this is the total cost relates to the port, and this is the total cost relates to like once the Kansas receive and unload all the goods, like once the cost they need to deliver the goods to different warehouses. So we just like we just plus these two costs together. So this is what we have like for the current system. This is also the answers for question one. So the question one here, it just like give you like the information and ask you to like what is the total cost. This is like how much you need to spend on for the current system. Any questions by now?
No, none so far.
Then if you have already like figured the question one out, it will be like super easy for you to figure out the question two. So the question two, it just changed a little bit. So what are the changes? So if we take a look over there, or we just like read the information here, now they just want to upgrade the Los Angeles like for the warehouse to include a distribution center capable to process all the goods like into the United States. So for the old one, for the current system over there, the LA is only a warehouse, the port, and it also one of the warehouse, but it's not the distribution center. So it's not like has the capability as the Kansas City has. So it will not be able to unload. Then once like they need to like for the LA to Kansas, then back to LA. So this is what they consider about. Now they just want to upgrade the Los Angeles warehouse to, I mean, kind of like a distribution center with some capable to process the goods. So what they do, they just like move all the Seattle, like the goods arrival to Seattle, then they just like immediately ship all of the stuffs to Los Angeles. And then all of the stuffs like on the Los Angeles will be unloaded and checked. So they don't have to go to the Kansas City to do the unload stuff. They just like do all of the unload and the processing stuffs like in Los Angeles. Because Los Angeles is the port, it's the warehouse, as well as the distribution center. And then 18% of the volume will be kept because Los Angeles is also one of the warehouse. So they will keep 18%. 80% of the CBM is actually exactly what the Los Angeles demand. So they just keep the 18%. Then they move all the rest of them by rail to Kansas City warehouse, and they do exactly the same thing. So once the rest of 82 arrival to Kansas City like deliver, like use the truck to just like deliver those goods to other warehouse, which is like the Neverland, the New Jersey, and other 8, but not including like the Los Angeles, because Los Angeles have already kept what they need as the demand. So this is the new system they consider about. What does that mean? So once all the goods like arrival in Seattle, they just like deliver it to Los Angeles directly. And then all of the stuffs will be unloaded for the Los Angeles, and then we just need to compute like the cost over there. And once they finish like the processing and unloading, then 80% of the goods will deliver to the Kansas City. So the distance for Los Angeles to Kansas City, and they use the train. So this is how then you just need to compute like what is the real cost for Los Angeles to Kansas City. And the rest of are the same. So once the arrival of the Kansas City, then they just also still need to use the truck to deliver the goods to other warehouses. So this is another pure transportation fee by truck. And then you just will be able to find what is the total cost. You just need to sum the processing fee over there, the real cost over there, and the truck cost over there. So you will be able to have a new total cost for the new system. And then question 3 and question 4 is just asking you based on the analytics, based on all the results you have, like based on the current system results, the new system results, what you have over there, then what's your opinion? What's your comments about that? Okay, so this is about the case study, and I will not like give you the answers here, but it's really, really similar to the current system, and the new system correct answer looks like this. So after that, you probably will be able to find it's kind of like smaller, like the new system will help you to save money. This is the conclusion, but based on this analytics here, you need to just answer the questions 3 and 4. So this is about case assignment. Any questions?
None so
I
far.
just,
Yeah.
oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
So the word count that you're referring to on the case assignment is in reference primarily to questions 3 and 4, or is it just the whole thing?
For the question 3 and okay, so the whole thing. So we have 4 questions for case assignment. So you need to finish question 1, just what I just did. And then you need to move to the new system, which is the question 2. So you have to all the analytics, then you can answer question 3 and 4. Any other questions?
None from here.
That's great. So this is the first 2 parts I'd like to like share with you. Actually, like in Canvas, I also have like a video to review the case study, the case assignments too. So if you want to review that, you can just review that as well, like in the Canvas. But you can also review the case assignment here, like for this video.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, so this is about the homework and the case assignment. Do you have any other questions related to these 2 things?
Just, and like you said, Professor, all of this would also be on the final exam.
No.
No, okay.
Not all of them. So for the case assignment, I will not have any questions like for the final exam, like to cover this stuff. So this is actually a separate like case study for students
Okay.
to get some sense about how to solve the supply chain problem in the real business world. So this is not the things I will do assessments in the final exam. But for the linear programming, I may have questions related to that, but I will not ask you to do the LP like during the exam, because I don't hope like you spend too much time on it. The exam time is limited, so I will not ask you to spend like an hour to solve an LP. So we don't have like a whole LP problem, just like the homework in the final exam. But I probably will ask you like some questions related to LP, like for example, the relates to what is the objectives, relates to like what the variables, something stuff like that. Which is like
Okay.
you can just like give the answers very quick. I'm just like in a few minutes.
Okay, thank you.
If we're getting stuck at all on the case study, is it okay if we just email you over some questions and get your
Of course.
feedback before we submit it? Okay.
Yes, of course. So if you have any questions, like if you want to compare your answers, like you can just like check the videos all the time. So I have the
Yeah.
answer over there. And if you're still like stuck in with that, just feel free to send me emails. Sometimes like I may not be able to check the button discussion like all the time, but I will be able to just like reply the emails in a very short time, almost like in a few hours. So just let me know like if you have any questions, or if you need, we can set another like the virtual office hours to answer your questions. So no worries.
Thank you.
Okay. One more question about the final exam, Professor. Would it also be structured like the last exam with about 10 math questions and the rest are multiple choice and true or false?
The most of the questions for the last exam will be true or false or multiple choices problems. So we don't have too much math for
Okay,
the final
great.
exam. And the final exam will only covers the last few chapters we learned. So
Okay, great. Thank you.
in terms of the test will be another thing I just like to mention. No, not to mention, just like I just hope, because this is the third thing, I just like to answer some questions for the bulletin board, because most of the questions are actually relevant to the test. So I just want to give you a review about the test. For the test
Okay.
one, I allow each of students have 3 attempts. Some of you may not recognize that, but a few. Actually, I have 1 or 2 students like for each section. I have 3 sections in total. I have 1 or 2 students like in each section who only took 1 attempt. So I'm not sure like if they just recognize they had 3 attempts or they just like want to do that once. But anyways, so I allow students to have 3 attempts to do the test one, because I just like different courses, they have a different style. Like, so I just hope like students have had the opportunity to get familiar with the test. So what types of test questions may look like and so on. And so and for the test 1 and test 2, I allow students to bring a formula sheet. But for the test, but both of them are not open note test, which means only formula
Right.
sheet is allowed. And for the test 2, because we have like the control charts problems, and I know like a few students feel like it may be easier. Like even I don't have any like whole control chart problem, you need to solve it. I just like ask you, I just give you all the numbers and ask you to do a simple calculation to find the upper or lower limits. But I can understand that a few students may feel like the Excel will be a more efficient for them rather than the calculator. So for the test 2, actually the Excel is a note. If you read the introduction, you can find that. And so this is for the test 1, test 2. And some of the students, like a few of students, like send me an email like for the test 2, they mentioned they are 3 exactly the same question, but the test 2 is available for reviewing for yesterday, the Thursday's morning. So if you review your test, so you probably will be able to see that they are actually just with the same question, but with the different option. Not all the students met that. Some of the students met exactly those 3. Sometimes may met 1 of them or maybe 2 of them. It's related to a Toyota's waste. So the reason I have like a very similar 3 questions over there, because this is actually one of the important, bless you. This is actually one of the important stuff like students need to kind of memory, because this is like about the Toyota's lean operations. So if you met 3, all 3 of them, it means you are so lucky, because I just like give you an opportunity to earn another 2 points. Because if you check the option, you will be able to, because this is the multiple choice is only 1 correction. only one option is correct. So if you check all the options, like if you review other two you met before, then you will be able to know which one is the correct. Because if they appear in other questions, they should be the wrong answers because we only have one correct answers. So this is
Understood.
kind of the things I hope could just give opportunity to students. I cannot like make sure like all of the students may meet the exactly the same questions, but if the students make 3 of them, it means lucky students, you will be have the opportunity to earn the points. But unfortunately, some of the students, like when they find, okay, the question asked exactly the same for the previous questions I met, it probably a take issue. It probably like something wrong with the test. So they keep choosing exactly the wrong answers all the time. So they just like have been deducted like answers for that. I mean, deducted points for that. So it's just like, it's not what I expected, but it's really, really hurts. I mean, if you just keep choosing the wrong answers, you probably will be deducted 6 points for that question. And this is actually the questions I hope students can earn points, but this, for some of the students, if they make 3 of them, this is the questions they lose points. So what I am concerned about, this is the things I'd like to mention. And some of you may have already like know that, some of you may not. And we have 3 tests in total, and just like I represent one of the students in the discussion board for one of the section. I will drop because this is not an easy class and this is not an easy course. I know like how hard you learn about that because we have tons of methodologies, the math you need to figure out, and we have a lot of like topics it covers. So you probably spend a lot of time to deal with that. And this is not easy, especially for like the online section, because sometimes you may not be able to receive like the help you need immediately. So for all the online section, be 70, 71, 72, I will drop the lowest test.
Yeah.
So which means only the top, I mean the highest top 2, like the test will be counted to your final grade. And at the same time, you will see this like for next week, like the announcement sometime. I mean on Monday, but this is also the things I like to emphasize. So for the test 3 is open note. You can just like pull out all the PowerPoint slides. And the formula sheet is also allowed, calculator is also allowed, Excel is also allowed, so you can just like feel free to use all of them, okay? And I don't have any complex question in exam, so no worries. I will not ask you to do exactly the same thing you do for the homework. So homework exercise case assignment will not be the most useful materials for you to prepare the test. The most useful materials for you to prepare the test is always like the PowerPoint slides for each chapter it covers. And when you prepare that, you just need to figure out, you need to have a logic about like what is the main topic this chapter talks about. And then you will be able to find the answers very, very quick, like when you do the exam 3. Okay, so again, do not read through all the contents for the textbook. You don't have to read for the page 200 to page 400. You just need to go over the PowerPoint slides. And if you are not familiar with that topic, go back to the textbook to check it. Otherwise, you can just like, I mean, you can just go through all the PowerPoint slides and you will be ready for the tests. Okay, the last test. So this is the test questions I'd like to answer based on the comments I received for the discussion of the bulletin board. Any questions you have in terms of the tests?
No, that was about it. So essentially it should be, since it's open book, the simplest of all the 3 tests then. And is it also just one attempt? Or do we have multiple attempts on this one as well?
We will have multiple, yeah.
Okay, on the last one? Okay, great. No problem.
And
Good.
answer for Taylor's question for the chat box, like The 4 questions you need to answer for the case assignment is the, so let me show you. So let me share my screen here. So the 4 questions is over there. So the specific questions, like if you read through all the case assignment information, here are the 4 questions you need to answer. So question 1, it just asks you, if I translate the questions to you, it just asks you to compute or just like compute the total cost for the current system. Question 2, they just want to re-engineering the system. So you need to compute the cost for the new system. And question 3, question 4, based on the result you obtain for the question 1 and 2, then you will be able to give your comments about like the questions over there. And the question 4 is really similar. So just like if you were on the management level of this company, so what should you do? So kind of stuff. This is the open answers question.
Okay.
Okay. And yeah. Okay, so this is like another stuff like let me share my screen again. So some of students like when they find the page, they just like feel this is the page, but this is not the real page. So the page is over there. So page 449. So it should be under page 449. But if you feel, no, I don't want to find that, then you can just like 200 will be the number you need to look for. And if you don't want to like find the numbers, a really, really easy way for you to find this case is to search. So search the keywords with the Granger. So you will be able to find this case exactly. Okay. Okay. So any questions about the test or any questions about this course?
Question.
Yes, go ahead.
So, how many? This is the thing. Is like I get super nervous with finals, with tests, and I have not performed really well on the second test because of that. My question is there any way you can provide any quizzes or exam preparations for the final?
Okay.
The thing is, this is a really useful course for me because I own a small business, and this course teach a lot about how running a successful business. So I try to master the context, but when I go and take the test, I get super nervous. That's the thing.
Okay. Thank you for asking that question. It's a really good one because I mean, maybe I assume like some of the other students may have exactly the same questions you have. So the first thing I can like calm you down is just like, I mean, not calm you down, I'm sorry. So one of the things I can provide is just like even you didn't do well for the exam too, that's totally fine because I will drop the lowest test. And if you ask me like about how to prepare for the test, so I have already like mentioned this a lot of times, but a very useful way for you is to go through the PowerPoint slides, and test 3 will be an open note. So once you review the PowerPoint slides for the chapter, the exam 3 will only cover the last few chapters. It's not a comprehensive exam, so you don't have to prepare a lot. So you just need to focus on the last few chapters we learned the last 3 weeks. Then you just like take a look with the PowerPoint slides for each chapter. Just go through the canvas. So let me share my screen. Okay, so you just need to go over the modules like for the last few chapters, like for the chapter 15, chapter 16, 17, what we will learn next week, and chapter 19 and 20 we will learn like the last week. And so this is what you will meet. And you just need to open the modules and make sure like you find the PowerPoints for each chapter. And you open it and you just like take a look with the PowerPoint slides. And then you just like take a look with each of them. So this is the outline, which is the main topic it discussed for that chapter. And then you just like take a look with the details about, okay, there's a definition of the logistics. You don't have to memorize the whole sentences over there, but you need to remember some of the keywords for this definition. This is also as well as for other definitions for the topic we discuss. So you probably need to figure out what does mean logistics. I hope you understand it not only, instead of only memorizing it. And you just go through all like of the stuffs, like you need to figure out what logistic is, what does mean international logistics, what does mean third-party logistics companies. And then we have like different transportation modes, like you need to figure out how many, like in total we have those. So 6 in total, and you need to figure out like what is the meaning for each of them. And you just like go through all of them for this slides over there. You don't have to just like remember all of them, like memorize all of them, but you need to have a sense about what it talks about. If you meet like one of the multiple choices questions ask you, okay, this is the warehouse, what is the main objective for the warehouse, or what is the differences between warehouse and distribution center, you need to understand them. So you just go through all the PowerPoint slides, and for most of the chapters I actually have the PowerPoint slides less than 20, because I don't hope like students like to spend too much time on it. So you just like go through all of them to make sure you understand each PowerPoint slides, and you will be fine. So you don't have to. And I don't recommend you to like read the whole, read all the contents for the chapter 15 on the textbook, then chapter 16, chapter 17, chapter 19, 20 for the textbook. You don't have to read that hundreds of pages on the textbook. You just need to like read all the PowerPoint slides here and make sure like you have a sense, you understand them, and then you will be super ready for the last exam. That makes sense.
Yes.
And so as the last exam, so which like for other courses, it's probably a final exam, and most of the courses, the final exam probably is a comprehensive exam. So I just hope I can just like release a little bit about your pressures. So the exam 3 will be open note. So you just need to like have everything like on hand when you take the exam 3 to make sure like you you don't have to memorize anything. You just need to you can have a note about that.
Okay, great. Seems like the hard part is over.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
The
Thank you.
middle and the
Yeah.
middle of this course is always the hardest part, and the beginning, the ending will be easier.
Okay, great. Thank you, Professor. That's
Yeah.
all the questions I have.
Yeah, you're very
Great.
welcome.
Yeah, and thank you. I gotta leave, so thank you for everything. All right, goodbye. Have
Thank
a good
you.
Yeah. Any questions?
Thank you, Professor.
Yeah. And I will keep this office hour till 6 p.m. the mountain time. But if you feel you're good, you have no other questions, please feel free to leave it. But I will keep
Okay.
it until 6.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Have a good day.
You
The
too.
rest
Bye.
of the day. Yeah.
Yeah, you
For
too.
some
Bye.
time, probably evening. So
Thank you.
Hi, Mandy, welcome. We're just going to like finish out today's virtual office hours, but do you have any questions?
I do have a quick question. Sorry to hop on a little late. I was just double checking a few things, but I did have a quick question about the rail cost in the new system. I was following along with your case assignment 2 review video,
Mm-hmm.
and you calculated that it was 54,313. And when I do plug it in with the numbers, I get 54,312 and 80 cents. Did you want us to round it, or do you think I'm
Okay, so can you just share your screen share with me?
Yes,
Spreadsheet.
just one sec.
So give me a second, so I need to make you as a co-host, so you will be able to share your spreadsheet here.
Yeah, you're good. I just didn't want like the 80 cents to get a wrong answer down the road, you know what I mean? So,
Okay, so now you should be able to like just share screen with the spreadsheet you have.
okay, perfect. Okay, can you see it?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So when I was calculating it, that's what I got. I guess just double check and make sure I have the other numbers right, but
So let me compare mine with you. So you got 52. I didn't see like any differences with yours and mine.
I know that's what I was thinking. And I just wondered if I had like a different setting on or something. I'm not sure, but
I mean, you have the correct answer.
because when I did the truck freight costs, I decided just to go with the 54,313, 454, but just because that's what you had, I didn't know if I should do
You
this
don't you
one.
don't you don't have to do that. You can just keep like two decimals, or you can just run it to integer. You don't have to
Okay.
like run it to the integer. You can just keep it. Yeah. No worries.
Okay, perfect. So this is just okay how it is.
Yes. It looks great for me.
Perfect. And one quick last question. When we're copying and pasting this into a Word document, is it
Uh-huh.
okay if I screenshot this instead of trying to copy and paste it, or would you prefer?
I actually don't have any like strict requirements about how your submission. You can just have a screenshot, or if you want to like attach the whole files, that's totally fine too. But I just want to make sure like I mean students know how to do that. So
Okay.
yeah.
Nice. Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah. Any other questions? If no, I am going to end this meeting, and I have already like a rec date, so I will post this video in Canvas as well, so to make sure like students can go over and to review the homework and as well as the case assignment. Okay. Hi, my dear Gary, do you have any other questions? Because
No, I should be good. Thank you so much.
okay, so I'm going to like ending this meeting and to post it in Canvas. And let me know if anytime, just send me emails or just text me if you have any questions. Okay.